We're going to break down the WSOP main event final table. It's really weird to think that, when I was watching the final four last night, I was thinking, man, I was in this tournament 9 days ago.
Right? Yeah. It's like I have been home for a week now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, over a week. And yeah, it's so weird to think we are in this tournament. Um, I made I mean, you bought in on day two, right? Like,
Let me ask you and get your opinion on this. Did I essentially bust day one if I bought into day two and busted day two?
I mean, I do, you literally busted day two, so I don't know what that
It
count,
was the end. All right. I think that's one of the benefits about buying into day two is you can't say you busted day one, but I still busted on my first day of playing, which is
yeah,
quite unfortunate. But
disgraceful. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
if you guys didn't listen to our last episode, we actually broke down how the main event went for both of us. Unfortunately, it wasn't great this year, but nonetheless, I'm eager and hungry to get in there again next year and just improve the results. So definitely looking forward to that. Um, Wes, you excited to talk about and break down some hands today from the WSOP main event final table? Quite a fun final table.
yeah, let's do it. It was such a weird, there were so few hands actually played. I remember when at some point during Heads Up, which also didn't last that long, they showed a graphic that showed how many hands had been played at each main event final
It was at like
table.
60 something.
Yeah, it was
Saw that.
64 at the time, and I don't know if there had ever been one. Like all of the previous final tables were somewhere between like
Couple hundred.
140 and there's one in the 400s, I think.
I want to say that it was nice for a change. The last 2 years, actually, if I remember correctly from last year, it ended. It almost last year's felt almost premature. It just ended kind of quickly. This one also ended quickly, but it felt
It felt like it was going that way the whole time.
yeah, and it felt like I was very happy with the end result, especially with the grinder getting inducted into the Hall of Fame as he got his main event bracelet hoisted.
Yeah.
That was super cool to see. Phil Ivey and Phil Hellmuth and just all these different legends, out there to congratulate him on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
And one other thing I want to mention about this final table is another thing it was enjoyable to watch because it didn't feel robotic in the sense of people tanking forever and then just making GTO plays. There was a lot of like loose play for the main event final table, in my opinion.
There was a lot of very loose play.
And that's
Um,
enjoyable to watch. There was characters. You got the grinder throwing the double thumbs up, looking
yeah.
to his crowd
Look
like,
into
all
his
right, get
rail.
loud, I'm raising. Like that
Yeah.
gets me pumped, man. I loved every
Yeah. He's really entertaining.
yeah.
Um,
He is good for the game. Him winning the main event is good for the game. And that's my take at least.
I agree too. And before we get into the hands, I wanted to mention this. So on day three, I remember I was watching day three with a couple of roommates, or maybe just one roommate, but Grinder had a big stack and he was at a featured table. And then he lost uh kings versus aces against another big stack who actually happened to be the guy who got 10th, Padron.
Oh, really? And this is
Yeah,
on day
so he
three.
they
Okay.
that was on day three. And ironically, I played with Padron briefly on day one too, but it was actually a spot where it felt like he really should have folded kings. Like he had four bet, and then this other big stack, I think it was a four bet, and then this other big stack, he didn't flat, he didn't jam, he like five bet large for like half his stack. And nearing the end of day three, it's like that's closing in on the bubble. So this guy is probably it was just, if you're ever gonna fold kings, it looks like
It
the
seemed like
spot
a
to do
spot.
so.
Yeah, it seemed like a spot where you could actually do it.
Yeah. Anyways, I know that Mizrachi at some point he had been at like 8 or 900K at the peak that day, and he got down to like 120K, not just from that hand, but largely from that hand. And then so he got down to like 20 big blinds late on day three, which that's obviously not the shortest he ever was, but
Yeah, you got down to three big blinds, I believe, on day seven or something, day eight.
started day eight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say if there's anyone that can run up a stack because they're not afraid to put chips in the middle, it's Grinder.
Yeah, and just a reminder, it's like you can pretty much every tournament you win or make a deep run and you're going to have those moments of adversity, so like
Yeah.
don't just change up your game just cuz you lost a big chunk of your stack. Like just play that stack.
Very well said. Keep your head down, grind it out,
Yeah.
just like the grinder.
Yeah.
And he did face a bunch of adversity. It was cool to see him bounce back. You know, I mean, he won the PPC and the main event, the two most prestigious poker events of the year in the same
Mhm.
year. I mean, how insane is that? I
That is pretty crazy. I mean, obviously first time that's been done.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So I thought that was super
is he
cool.
going to be player of the year or did someone else win it?
I was wondering that. Honestly,
Did
I
Sean Deeb win that? I
I
actually
am
don't know.
I honestly have absolutely no idea. So
I'm just gonna Google that as we're talking here. Should we get into some of the hands?
yeah, while you Google that, I'm just gonna kind of start us off. So some of these hands, I'm just gonna talk about, this will be so we'll start from the final table and this will go in sequential order. I believe I got it
Mhm.
in sequential order. I have a bunch of pages of notes here. All right. So the first hand, and this was actually the very first hand of the final table. Um, Lee opens ace queen off on 22 bigs in mid position. Wozniak defends 5-5. Wozniak is the pretty much lone amateur, I believe, at the final table. Had like 140K in earnings.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Were there any other amateurs?
Not that
I
I'm aware.
guess
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think so. Like, not like, hmm.
not just
Maybe
straight up
maybe
amateurs.
Mingen or however you pronounce that, the snowboarder
Mangini.
guy,
Yeah.
Mangini, yeah.
By the way, it looks like Sean Deeb still won player of the year and Benny Glazer got second and Mizrachi got third.
What a
So
summer. So Grinder wins the PPC and the main event. Benny Glazer wins 3 bracelets, and Sean Deeb
Sean Deeb somehow still gets player of the
gets
year.
first place, our player of the year. That's I don't know. Something seems weird there. I'm not sure exactly how the logistics of player of the year go, but
Yeah.
I feel like winning the PPC and main event should just trump everything else.
Yeah, but also Glazer had three
3
bracelets
bracelets,
on the
yeah.
summer.
Yeah. I'm sure, I don't know the logistics, but shout out to all 3 of them who had an incredible summer. And it's cool to see 3 OGs, make the headlines like that.
Yeah.
So back to where I was at here. Lee opens on 22 bigs with ace queen off. Wozniak, forgive me if I mispronounced that. They kept calling him the Woz, and it kept making me think of Robbie Waz.
Same here. That was
I was
confusing.
like, he's not the true Woz. There's only one true Woz. So we're going to stick with Wozniak for him. Flop comes Queen of Diamonds, Jack of Diamonds, 5 of Hearts. So obviously it's a snap cooler. You got top versus bottom set. Lee bets 3 million. Wozniak raises to 6.5 million. Lee jams and Woz obviously snaps the set and holds, and Lee is out first hand of the main event.
Yeah.
Nothing to really break down there. 22. I saw some eyebrows raised. What do you think?
There are a couple things I was going to say. First off, not strategy related, but did you notice that Kenny Hallert folded Queen Jack on the button and he would have flopped top 2 pair and actually rivered a bigger boat?
Oh, I now that you say, so I do remember him folding Queen Jack, and I never realized that he would have made the bigger
Yeah,
boat.
he would have just had all the chips right away.
That's sick. So the river was a jack. Is that what
Yep.
happened? Okay. Wow. Wow. I mean, Lee was under the gun, I believe, when he opened Ace Queen off. Yeah, it was. I think he was under the gun first
Was
act.
he?
Yeah, so it makes sense to fold Queen Jack O under the button to 22 big blind open under the gun. I mean, that range has
It
to be
does. It
that
does. Yeah.
that range has to be pretty damn strong. So,
Yeah.
um,
What do we I guess I would also say like the check raise sizing. I guess I can see it. I was thinking Wozniak should just go bigger and then get it in on the turn.
yeah.
Um, the min click is kind of, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Again, Wozniak's the lone amateur. He probably hasn't studied sizings or isn't even really aware. I mean, he might not even know what SPR stands for. So,
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think strategy wise, that was the one note I had.
okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Nothing too crazy to mention about that. So, moving on to the second hand. let's see here. I got. Okay, so this is actually the second hand. I think this is four hands, and we had two people out like within the first, I want to say 20 minutes. So I think this is the fourth hand.
Okay.
Mingjin, we'll call him Mingjin. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, and he ever hears this. He opens to two big blinds on the button with ace queen of diamonds. We love this spot, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
He had what, like 15,
he
14
had
bigs?
he had 15 bigs.
Hmm.
So I mean, essentially, it's like I mean, if you're looking down at ace queen of diamonds and it folds to you on the button with 15 bigs, it's like looking down at aces,
Yep.
pretty much. Um, Small
Except
blind
that
folds.
aces would have won the hand.
That's true. Folds to Hallert, who rips 32 bigs from the big blind with pocket fours. I mean, obviously he's gonna win. He's got pocket fours.
Right.
Also, did you hear Grinder mention how pocket fours was his favorite hand?
Favorite hand. Yeah.
It flops
I
the most sets. Like it has
It
been.
does.
It's just it is what it is, guys. It,
Yeah. Everyone, people are saying it. People were saying it at running aces last night. I think unprompted, like when I got moved to my second table, they were saying how fours were hot that night. And I'm like,
what have
you
I
guys don't
created,
even
Wes?
understand.
What have I created? But anyways, yeah. So they get in ace queen of diamonds versus pocket fours. Hallert holds the flip, and Minjin busts in what is that, eighth place?
Yep.
Their nine-handed final table. Yeah. Okay. So going on to the third hand, this hand is actually very interesting. This hand's between Bojovic and Hendricks. Do you know which hand I'm talking about? There's
I
a
actually don't.
ooh.
Yeah.
I hope you haven't heard of this one because this one
I
is.
I mean, I think I saw it. I
So let me
watched
give you
pretty
some
much.
context here. Bojovic and Hendricks are, I would say, at the final table, the two most studied players. They
Okay.
both they both they both know
Yeah, I knew
ICM. They both are
Hendrix was,
studied.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
they're both well-rounded players, both well-studied players. So folds to Bojovic in the small blind with 32 big blinds, and he completes with the king of clubs and nine of spades. Hendrick checks back the big blind with six of diamonds, deuce of hearts on 30 bigs. So 32 bigs and 30 bigs. Uh,
Hmm.
they're kind of like right in the middle-ish of the pack, kind of. There's a bunch of people kind of floating right into that area.
Yeah.
The flop comes Queen Jack six rainbow. Now, Bojovic has a gutter, not to the nutter, but
Good enough though.
yeah. So he's got the gutter, and he ends up leading 1.2 bigs here. I like this. I feel like you're just going to get Hendricks to just kind of fold all the nothings and just take it down there. What do
Yeah,
you
I
think?
guess
Or
I
maybe a check
actually
raise,
I would just lean towards check call,
check call. Okay.
actually, because if we, King High is going to be ahead of all the bluffs. We have
Do we ever?
we have plenty of equity against like this hand, and
Yeah.
then if our opponent has a queen or a jack, we're not really wanting to target that necessarily.
Do you feel like it's unnecessary to deny equity to any non-paired hands that we're already beating at this point, and maybe just scoop the
It's
pot that as is?
it's certainly like we would want to. The thing is like, does that balance out? Like if we bet one big blind and get called, that's not what we want. If we get a fold,
Yeah, folding
like
is what we want.
which is more important, I don't know. I would lean check call mostly, but I could see. I certainly think this is a fine play too.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly think both options are fine in my opinion.
Hmm.
Whether that's theory approved or not, I could give a shit less. So, and you know what? Now that I think about it, I did say Bojovic is I know he studies theory, so and he did he did bet
So
1.2.
he's
So
probably, yeah.
we'll see. Anyways, does this hand ring a bell to you yet?
It actually doesn't.
Oh God, get ready, buckle up, buddy. Hendrick. Okay, so Hendrick flops bottom pair, bottom kicker. So six deuce. It's Queen Jack six. He's got six deuce. Bojo. We're gonna call him Bojo.
Okay.
Bojo leads 1.2 bigs. Hendrick raises to 3.5 bigs. Remember, they're both about 30 bigs deep. What do you think of this raise with bottom pair, bottom kicker?
Kind of the same thing where I'm leaning towards just calling,
This one
but
I more so agree with you. He is in position. Hendricks is in position, so I do think there is something to be said about his raise, and also for the same reason why Bojo leads out 1.2 bigs, maybe is a good reason for Hendricks to raise here is because we can just get him to fold all his nothings that he's leading here.
Yeah, because most nothings still have two overcards here.
Yeah, exactly. So and some equity, right? So and if a turn card comes, you just kind of don't know where you're at, right?
Yeah. I mean,
If
we
you're
are like he already
if
doesn't know where he's at.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I mean, we don't really advise raising to find out where you're at, right? But in a sense, it can be good. I think maybe
Yeah.
even here it's not terrible. So I
Yeah.
think
The
you and I,
interesting thing here though is like if he gets called or re-raised, like he's actually ahead with the six, so he's not really even finding out where he's at, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, that's true. So
Um,
so Bojo leads 1.2 bigs. Hendricks two bets to 3.5 bigs.
two
This,
bets. I haven't heard that.
this is where
It's correct,
it's of course
obviously.
it's correct. Shut
Yeah.
up. And now Bojo three bets
Yeah.
to 6.2 big. So it's 1.2 to 3.5 to 6.2. What do you do with as Hendricks here with bottom pair? We just kind of fold here, right?
I think you have to fold. Yeah. And this is a perfect example of why raising to find out where you're at is such a disaster. If that is the only reason you're doing it, right?
Okay.
Because he actually doesn't find out. Like he's ahead,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he has probably 60% here, and does he just fold?
Well, let's before we get into the next action, let's talk about this for a little bit. What is Bojo going to be limping pre, leading, and then checking, or excuse me, leading and then three betting on the Queen Jack six rainbow. So we're gonna remove all sets from his range, right? Maybe
I
sixes possibly.
maybe actually maybe he will limp all the pocket queens, jacks, aces, kings.
You think so as a trap to try and against, I guess Hendricks maybe. Okay, so I guess we can't remove all those.
Yeah, we're deep enough where he might not, where he might just raise, but it's blind versus blind, definitely a possibility.
Okay, all
I would
right.
say all the two pairs make sense.
Okay, Queen six, uh, Jack six, maybe of the suited variety. I wonder if he would just fold Jack six
Oh,
off. Anyways,
all jack six off is in
okay,
there.
so now let me ask you this: would he end up three betting? What hands would he end up three betting over the two bet from Hendricks? Now, I feel like this narrows the range a lot more, right? So, if he has a set here on a rainbow board, I think he's just going to end up flatting Hendricks's, right?
Probably. I would
Now
still say all the two pairs.
two pair, you think he's going for the three bet? I think that's about it in terms of value.
Yeah, I guess what I would say is a lot of players will just not three bet the flop like this. So clearly, if he is three betting, so this one is as a bluff, but
Hmm.
the the opposite side of that would be he's going to be doing this with all his two pair, I would think, and
Yeah,
then
so I
he shows
agree.
up with a set.
I think there is, his bluffs are going to be, King nine. Uh, I don't think he's going to do it with the overs and the gutters. Like, say he has like Ace 10 0 and limped pre. I don't think this is how he's going to play that hand. Ace King definitely not. Ace 10 definitely not. So King nine and maybe 9 10.
So what would be different about like Ace 10 versus King 9?
Um, just more equity, I suppose. More showdown value versus King X.
Is it though? Like what raises what sort of hand are we expecting Hendricks to raise that beats King 9 but doesn't beat Ace
I mean,
10? I think it's kind of the same showdown.
yeah, I suppose you're right. That is correct. Yeah, you're right. After considering the action, I agree with that. So,
Yeah,
um,
dumbass.
there he is. There he is. All right. So Bojo leads 1.2. Hendricks two bets to 3.5. Bojo three bets to 6.2. We're not done yet, Wes.
Oh man, let's go.
Hendricks
So,
pulls out the four bet to
how did I
9.
miss this hand?
That's what I wanted to
I
know.
yeah.
Hendricks four bets to 9.5 bigs. So they got four bets in post and are still sub 10 bigs in the raising.
Yeah, like they still have
It's click, 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 essentially. And at this point, Bojo finally finds the fold
yeah.
with King Nine.
Wow.
I feel
I
like
have to say, I I kind of hate and like every play.
I think you should watch the hand. And honestly, I think Hendricks four bet. I mean, it's a value four bet. I feel like he literally has his opponent tagged on like King nine or nine ten. He's
Right,
not
like
trying
he's
to get his
clearly
opponent to find fold a jack here.
yeah, he's not trying to well, yeah, because Bojo wouldn't three bet. He would just call with a jack, right?
Yeah,
Call the
yeah,
raise. So it's
yeah,
like he's I guess the six is sort of a great blocker because he blocks two pair and he blocks the set that we know
yeah. So the
would
only
be there.
value kind of thing that we unblock is Queen Jack.
Yeah.
This hand was
Okay, here
super interesting.
yeah. That being said though, the price Bojo, with the pre-flop action, there's three blinds and then there's 15 over 15 here. So he's getting like 6 to 1 to just try and smash a gutter. He
Yeah.
almost like should do it. I get with ICM, it's a little different,
I
but
mean, here's the thing is, yeah, maybe call ICM changes things, maybe call, and then because it is just a click call, and then just plan on folding to, folding to all turn bets,
yeah.
unless you smash the 10, or maybe even a king. But king kind of still is just like, where am I
Yeah,
at?
King's still pretty gross,
It
right?
is, right? Um, I will say I absolutely love a good windmill. And for those who aren't familiar with a windmill, it's when you're bluffing and you get the folds and you snap throw your hand over, you throw your hand, your card's windmill face up so everybody can see that you just bluffed. Um, uh, Bojo folds, Hendricks snap windmills the six deuce, and I'm like, I love it, but you had the best hand, you know?
Yeah, it's not as effective when you have the best hand.
Right, right. So it would have been sick if we just slide it in. Like, yeah, that was a value bet. Anyways, what a cool hand. I mean, yeah, at the main event final table, this was like the only kind of like really, maybe not the only take it to the streets hand, but really taking it to the streets hand from the main event
Yeah.
final table. That was a super cool one. To see that on such a big stage is crazy. I would have imagine if Bojovic found the five bet jam there.
That would have been, or just a click.
My God, I don't even know.
Click so
Um,
then he can down bet the turn and jam the river.
okay, moving on to the next hand. So we got Mr. Dunaway. This guy is, I don't want to say he's an amateur, but I feel like he kind of is. He has won the WSOP Monster Stack. I don't know if it was last year or the year before.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so he's won the Monster Stack. So, but they were mentioning his Hendon Mob on the stream, and I think his biggest cash before the and even after the Monster Stack was like 66K. Obviously, a great score, but he's not like a top-notch pro with those kind of scores. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Definitely.
So yeah. Anyways, he won the Monster Stack for like 1.2 million, which is insane. Folds to him and cut off with Queen nine off, and he opens to two big blinds on 42 big blinds. With Grinder in the big blind.
Oh yeah, that's too loose with grinder in the big blind.
Yeah, yeah. Or wait, maybe Grinder's in the small blind. Let me think about this on the button. Grinder was in the blinds. Maybe it was big blind. I can't remember if it was small or big. Damn it. Anyways, he opens Queen nine off. I would just elect to fold his hand.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm 42 big. Just let it go. Find better spots. So he opens to two bigs. Wozniak on the button. Three bets pocket kings to five big blinds. This is the hand that really
Yeah.
changed the trajectory of the tournament. Obviously, Grinder already had piles, but this one really kind of changed it. Grinder four bets, so in two bigs, Wozniak three bets king king to five bigs on the button. Grinder four bets to 15 bigs with ace king, either in small blind or big blind. I can't remember.
I
Let's
think
see.
it was
Small
he was
blind.
on the direct left, so small blind.
Yep, small blind is correct. Dunaway folds. Wozniak jams 36 bigs. Grind
Or he
effective.
36 effective, yeah,
Effective
because
because he has Grinder covered and Grinder calls. We get the 9-7 Jack flop. Obviously, a dream flop for Kings. We get the Queen turn, which is a little scary because it gives them four tens to Broadway. But we don't even need the 10. Grinder just smashes the ace on the river. And let me mention, they on the stream show all the live outs.
mm-hmm.
He had three outs. There's three
Yeah,
live
four
outs.
of them had been folded.
Yeah. There were 3 live outs, so he just smashes the ace, otherwise he would have been out of the main event. That puts him at 70 big blind or 75 big blinds and the current chip leader.
Yeah, I mean that hand completely changes the trajectory. Wozniak was a pretty substantial chip leader going into that hand, and if he had just stacked grinder, he would have had like
He would have had
almost
over
half
half
the
the
chips.
chips. Yeah. And yeah. I can only imagine how painful that was.
Yeah,
And I will say, Wozniak really, um, he really did well with his emotions at the final table, being
he
like an
did.
amateur. I thought he handled that really well. Okay, so that kind of changed the trajectory of the final table. Now we got the grinder, who is kind of going to be the table captain. He's not afraid to play power poker, and he's going to really start implementing that as the chip leader of the tournament. Next hand, this is actually the end of the last female player in the field, Miss Leo Marget. Um, what a grinder! She's pretty cool. I remember earlier on in the tournament, I don't remember how the hand went, but she turned top pair into a bluff. Do you
I
remember that?
remember that. My roommates and I saw that live. I didn't even remember that was her until I saw something on Twitter. But
I think she
yeah,
got ace
she
10 to
checked.
fold, and she had like ace 4 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like a queen 10 9 9 ace
With
board, I
no
think.
fold equity, which seemed like no fold equity. Dude had like 12K behind. I don't remember the
Yeah,
exact details
she
of the hand,
checked
but
jam the river. The all the action was just crazy. I literally walked in during the end of that hand. But anyways, I forgot that was her. Like she could have just been out day one.
I would have not that like sometimes you see hands like that, where she runs the bluff with top pair, and I don't think that was in my arsenal, you know.
Yeah, it's always hard to say in the moment, but I yeah. I
Anyways,
didn't know anything about her. I didn't know if it was a bluff. Like it was just a crazy hand. But anyways, yeah, let's get to the
so
action.
it folds to her in the small blind. She's on 20 bigs. She has ace 10 of hearts here. What's your
Mhm.
play? Or what do you think's optimal? I guess I should
Yeah,
rephrase that.
I think just limping in.
I
I
love
think
limping here because we're gonna, we're gonna be under repped. Our opponent, if he raises, then we can 3-bet jam. If he jams, we can just call. Yeah, I mean, our plan is it's a trap essentially, in my opinion.
yeah, and I believe at this point she was the short stack. It was close, but I think she had the short stack.
I believe you're right. I don't have that on my notes, but I do think you're correct. So she limps the ace 10 of hearts on 20 bigs. Hallard in the big blind covering and has pocket sixes. I think this is a pretty clear jam.
I
Or
think
maybe just open and call
yeah,
off.
you could kind of go I will say I don't know from a technical standpoint with ICM and everything.
I think sixes doesn't want to see as many flops as a hand like, if he starts getting up into the tens, jacks, queens plus, I think, you know, open, or excuse me, raising and then calling off is better with those hands just because
Yeah.
we're not as worried about as many cards. It's easier to play post flop, I guess I should say.
Yeah, it is. I actually don't know. It makes sense to me to jam this one. And
I don't think it's bad by any means. So,
yeah,
he ends up jamming. Now, Leo Marget does take, maybe 10, 15 seconds before putting it in, but I don't think it's not a nit roll, not a slow roll. I think it was
no,
just
it was
the feeling of the moment. Like, this is the main event. We're at the final table. She's just kind of gathering herself before she puts
yeah.
it in to be prepared, mentally and emotionally. So I would have
That's
done
what
the
it
same
felt
thing.
like.
She
Just
knew she knew it was going in, and it's kind
mhm.
of like, yeah, just uh, taking in the validity of that moment. And here, let's run the cards. Like I can only imagine how that feels.
Yeah, like this could be my last hand. Like let's just take in the moment
Yeah, yeah.
or I'm
That's
gonna double.
that's what it felt like with the small amount of time she took before putting it in. Um, so, man, what a run out. The run out. So Hallard has the six of spades in his hand. The flop comes 7-5 jack with two spades.
By the
Turn.
way, the window card was the Jack of Hearts, so it looked like she had some
Yeah,
backdoor.
yeah.
Or it looked like she was gonna
When
flop
you
the
have ace
draw of
10 of
some
hearts
sort.
and you see a jack of hearts in the one, you're like, oh, what's coming behind? It gets
Yeah.
you excited for sure. The turn comes the ace of spades, which puts her in the lead, but gives Hallard the flush draw along with the two setouts. The river is the very disappointing nine of spades, sending Leo to the to the rail and the end of the run for her. I mean, so sick. I'm very happy to be able to see a female finally make the final table. I think that's super good for poker. If she won it, I think we would have had an incredible poker boom with an influx of women into poker. So I was
I
kind of
was
rooting
thinking
for that to
about that,
happen.
and I was kind of a you had said that before, and I'm like, yeah, that I found myself rooting for her too. Um, yeah, that I think that would have been great. And oh well, especially or at least if she had made the second day of the final table, because then I think the hype would have really, there would have been a lot of attention on it.
Hmm.
Not that there wasn't already,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Okay, on to the next hand. We have Grinder, who's now, has absolute piles. He's got, well, actually, you know what? Before this hand, I want to say he had, hmm. Anyways, I'll just give you the hand. I don't remember exactly, but he opens to 2.1 bigs under the gun with ace king off, very standard. Hendricks three bets pocket jacks to six bigs. Um, and I didn't put down how much he had, which is surprising. I don't remember how much he had here. I want to say it was probably 25 bigs.
I think it was in the 30s.
Maybe. I wish I wrote that down. I'm surprised I didn't. But anyways, he three
Yeah.
bets to six bigs. Mizrachi jams. Hendricks, just like, Margette, takes the moment like, all right, here we go. Like we're running this against Grinder for sure.
Yep.
Takes a little bit of time, stuffs it in. They get the queen four queen flop. It's great for jacks, but then that king on the turn puts Mizrachi ahead. The deuce or whatever, three on the river ends the hand, ends the tournament for Hendricks. I've been a fan of Hendricks for a long time now.
He's been number one GPI player at some point, hasn't
He
he?
has, yeah, maybe even twice if I remember. I don't know. He's an absolute crusher. He's been on my radar for probably 6, 7, 8 years. I don't know. He's part of a group. He's like friends with all of those other crushers who've had a ton of results, like Steven Song. Um, what's oh my gosh, uh, I can't think of the rest of their names right now, but all those like they have their own little group of players. Golly, Michael Rosito, something like that. I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, they're all crushers. They've all won piles. They've all had great summers. Hendricks ends up busting here, which puts Grinder over 100 bigs with five left. Hallert's in second place with 75 bigs.
Man, Hallard still had 75 bigs. That's crazy.
Yep, yep.
And it,
Now,
it just went so quick.
this hand, this hand made me laugh because it was one of those like theatrical hands from the grinder. So Hallard opens two bigs from the hijack with Ace King O, and
Yep.
this hand could have changed everything. I
Yeah.
completely understand where Hallard came from, but let's get to the action. He opens Ace King to two bigs. Dunaway on 40 bigs, three bets to 5.8 bigs from the cutoff with 7-7. So next to act, he three bets pocket sevens. Let's pause there. What do you think of the three bet with
Yeah.
sevens?
I was not a fan of this. This is the sort of hand I think you really don't want to three bet.
No.
If you want to have a flat here, that's fine.
I mean, I think flatting is the optimal play here on 40 bigs.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember what the other stacks were?
I think there was how many left? Five left at this point. I don't know if Bajovic had busted yet, but he was the shortest by far. So I think he had
Yeah.
like sub 10 bigs still at this point. If he may have been out. I might be wrong on this.
Yeah, he was around there.
Yes.
Yeah, anyways, I think sevens should be a flat. And if sevens had flatted, that may have changed a lot here too.
Oh,
But
it 100% would because Grinder now comes in for the four bet and his sizing would be much different. I bet you um, if Dunaway ended up just calling with sevens and Grinder finds, a three bet that's obviously going to be much smaller than the 20 bigs he made it with his four bet, it would give Hallert more opportunity to then squeeze and jam ace king over the top. Um,
yeah.
anyways, so yes, Hallert opens to two bigs with ace king. Dunaway three bets to 5.8 with 7-7. And Grinder four bets to 20 bigs with jack.
Yeah, he puts in two handfuls of
Grays,
the million chips.
the 5 million chips or 10 million. They're gray ones, 5 or 10 million. 1 million.
No, he put in 40 million. So he put in 40
You're right.
million
You're
chips.
right. Yeah, he
I
put in.
remember he just grabbed two fists, like
You're right.
two
That's
stacks.
exactly correct. They were the $1 million ones, or the million
Yeah.
chip ones. So, Grinder. Here's the thing: is Hallard has 75 bigs at this point.
Yeah.
He's second in chips. He's got ace king off. There's already a short. I'm pretty sure Bojovic was still in his hand with sub 10. What I was leaning fold before I saw any of the action with ace king off here. I mean, strictly for ICM purposes, but it sucks because Grinder's the type of guy that would do this with like ace queen or ace jack, maybe. If anyone
I
can do
don't
it,
even know. Like, I know what you're saying, but I also think that he's committing his stack against Dunaway here.
yeah,
Like,
he is for
not
sure.
against Hallert necessarily, but he put in half of the amount of chips that Dunaway had. Like it went, yeah, he made it a large four bet.
It was a large four bet. And also, I don't know if you can read into live tells in this at all, but this is another spot where he gave the double thumbs up to the crowd, told them to stand up. We're four betting before he put any chips in the middle. Then he just snaps, grabs 220 stacks of a million, stuffs them in the middle, and the
Yeah,
crowd goes wild, right? So, I don't, I mean, take that for what you will. Is it strong? It's definitely not weak. Like, he's
right.
not just
It
doing
does
this
feel
with two
really
bananas.
strong.
Yeah.
And as I was watching that, I remember rooting for Hallert to find the jam. I was just kind of rooting for him in general. Um, I was thinking about because I was having that thought too, where it's like, man, this is the grinder. We've got Ace King. Like, we can be chopping here a lot. He's probably if Hallert finds the jam, does Grinder fold jacks? Like, I
One would only know. I don't know, right? It's a good question.
yeah, here's what I kind of think, and I could be wrong. I think if Hallert had jammed initially, Grinder would have folded. Eventually, it seemed kind of clear that Hallert wasn't just tanking, that he was genuinely unsure of what to do.
Oh, I mean, I feel like that's obvious, right? Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
insane spot. Like I don't. That's a crazy spot. 75 bigs, being second in chips with some short stacks in there and with $1 million pay jumps. Like I feel like we got to bin the Ace King O.
Yeah. Well, I guess like my thought was maybe he didn't have to, but right after. Have you ever been in that spot where you're thinking for a very long time and then you realize, like, oh, my opponent probably realizes that I don't have the top of my range here now. And so now I can't even, now I have to just fold,
Yeah, yeah.
because now Haller, like, can't have aces or kings if
Wait,
he jams.
oh, if he jams, he can't have aces or kings.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because now Mizrachi knows that Haller doesn't, Mizrachi knows he had an actual decision. So, like,
I mean, he could be. Let me think
what
about
I'm
it.
saying is, like, we just said, like, it was clear that he actually had a decision based on how he was like thinking that long and acting.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's ever a ploy to induce him to call off light, though.
Yeah, but
You know, like
I
if
guess
someone, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I guess what I'm saying is like it was such a long time that I think Grinder would have read into it. Like I
Yeah,
think Hallert realized like, oh, and that, if he jams ace king, he's kind of hoping to fold some pairs, and he's
I,
like, oh, that's not going to work now.
yeah, I partially agree with you. I think I more than partially agree with you. And if anyone's going to read into it, it's definitely Grinder. I remember there was a spot where Wozniak had King Jack off on the button. And instead of just opening standard like he should, he took like a solid 25 seconds to
Yep,
open it, and then he opened it, and Grinder just three bet queen seven off or some trash like that, and gone to
queen
fold
nine,
king
I
jack.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
just because he knew he's like he could sense that Wozniak was like concerned about opening the button with that hand, which shouldn't be I mean, I would have snap open there, but to each their own. He's there and I'm not. So, yeah, like I said, I guess my point is that Grinder can definitely read into those situations correctly. So,
hmm
so anyways, he four bets the ace king off, and both of them fold.
or
Excuse me,
he
the
forfeits the
jacks.
jacks, right? Yep.
Yeah, he four bets the jacks. Ace king off folds. Pocket sevens fold. Grinder now increases his chip lead. what a nasty spot. Again,
for
I
sure.
think, man, I don't even know what to say about that. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. So
And the last thing I'll say is my first thought was that Kenny should jam. And then I'm like, man, he is in second. And how much would it suck to just bust out in fifth here? Like,
it's yeah, like $1 million plus you're burning.
yeah,
It's insane. But imagine if he gets it in versus Jackson, wins the flip.
yeah,
Like
that's
that,
also huge.
that's yeah, yeah, the vice versa of that's crazy. It's a spot that like I wonder how he feels about that with everything being said and done. I'm sure like he's still comfortable with it, right?
Yeah, he probably feels fine about it.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to an interesting hand. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I feel like even from the start of this tournament, when it was nine-handed, it was almost just like a four-handed tournament the entire way. Because it seemed to be Hallert, Dunaway, Grinder, and then
Wozniak.
Wozniak battling like most of the
Yeah.
time, right? So it kind of seemed like those guys were the and that's pretty much because of chip distribution, right? They had
Your
the chips to play
card.
hands.
Yeah.
Um, chip distribution in a sense they had the most big blinds to play with. But
Oh,
also,
okay.
yeah,
I thought you were gonna say card because they just had
and that
cards.
as
Like
well. I think it's a mix,
there were only like 60 some hands even played at the final table. So it's like
and
some
that
people
as
didn't even
well.
have time. Yeah.
So next hand, Hallard opens cutoff with Queen Eight suited to 2.5 bigs on 75 bigs. Uh, I think it's fine. I will mention this is the first time that I saw he deviated from his two big blind open though. He went to 2.5 bigs.
I think Mizrachi is in the big blind here, right?
Yes, he is. So that's
Yeah.
why.
So that's
Okay.
why.
Okay, good call. All right, I like that. So it's a good read. So he opens to 2.5 bigs. He's got 75 bigs. This is right after the ace king offhand. Dunaway calls button with king jack O on 25 bigs. I think that's fine. Do you ever I mean, it might
It's,
be
I
I
mean, in a chippy V spot, it's definitely fine. I feel like I
this
might
is a
just
hand
throw this in the muck though.
Bennett. Do you ever think there's a reason to a three bet and then maybe fold to any significant action as well with a hand like this?
It's possible, yeah. You have like decent blockers.
Yeah. So, anyways, he calls with King Jack O on the button on 25 bigs, and Grinder defends with 120 bigs, and he has 850. So it's Queen Eight suited, King Jack off, and 850. The
Yeah, he
flop,
just doesn't go away.
the flop comes 10-9-7 rainbow. So Hallard has an open ender with an over and a backdoor flush draw. Dunway has a gutter to the nutter. Not quite to the nutter, but a gutter.
Hmm.
Jack Queen would be a gutter to the nutter. And then Grinder also has an open ender. Uh, let's see, how does this action
Oh,
go?
wait. It was 10-9-7.
Yep. So
So
Grinder.
Dunaway has a double gutter.
Oh yeah, he does have a
Yeah.
double gutter. You are
And
correct.
the queen would
Any queen or eight is good for him.
and it is a nut like the
It's
queen
the
is the
it's
nuts.
the gutter
So
to the nutter. You're right.
yeah.
Okay. Overlooked. I'm reading over my notes here. All right, give me a break. All right.
Double gutter to the single nutter.
The double. All right. The flop it checks through. Grinder checks. Hallert checks. And Dunaway checks. I'm kind of surprised with these three. I feel like the reason why this checks through is because all of them are capable of clicking it if you open or if you end up betting. So, and they all kind of want to try and realize their equity. And he disagrees with that.
I think yeah, I actually think it doesn't surprise me that much just 'cause like okay, Grinder's probably gonna check and flow, then
And this is
Hallert.
a board where almost everybody can connect with, where you're not going to get much folds either.
Yeah, exactly. And both Hallert and Dunaway, if they bet, they want folds, even though they have equity.
Yeah, I
And like
agree with that.
Grinder, you don't want to just suddenly see a check raise from him, which
God,
you
yeah,
very well
which
might.
he is the one of capable of doing it. So the turn is the two of spades. Now this brings a backdoor flush draw. It gives Hallard an open ender with a flush draw.
Hmm.
Dunaway still has the double gutter to the single nutter, and Grinder just has the lone open ender. So literally the worst hand
and
and the worst equity.
and if a jack comes, Hallert will have a higher straight.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so Grinder doesn't have a ton of equity
He's
here.
pretty dead. He's dust, but he's the power poker player. He's also the biggest stack by a large margin. He bets 5 big blinds into 9 big blinds and both call. The river is a deuce X. Deuce, we'll call it a banana.
Yeah.
Grinder bets 12 and a half into 24. So he essentially bets half pot with just 8 high, and
Yeah.
they both fold.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
It's crazy
as the
how he
other
wins this
players,
hand. It's just it's mind-boggling.
yeah, this is an example of one where he really, because to be fair, he did run very hot, but this is one where he just put the pressure on them both, and yeah, I mean, he played it well. I think it's very tough to bluff into two players on the river after they both called turn. However,
I agree.
the spades
It's a
missed
draw
on the
heavy board
river.
that whiffed on the river.
Yeah, everything missed on the river, so I can see what kind of motivated that. He's like, okay, the king, queen, jack, queen, jack, other 8x, spades.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even account for the fact that maybe some sort of pair would fold too.
So we only have a few hands left here to get into. This next one is where the tides really turn. I mean, after this next hand, this is where we go, okay, Grinder's going to win the main event, right?
Yeah.
This is the hand between Grinder and Hallert, where Hallert has King Jack of spades, Grinder has Queen 10-0. I'll give you the action here. Do you remember this hand?
I do.
Okay, so Grinder opens to 2 bigs in the cutoff on 150 big blinds.
He's
Must be
playing a
nice.
cash game now.
Yeah, it must be nice. He's got Queen of Spades, 10 of Hearts. Hallert calls in the small blind with King Jack of Spades on 58 bigs. I like this call. This is my reasons why I like this call. If you 3-bet, if there's anyone that can 4-bet light, it put pressure on you, it's Grinder with his stack and also the way he plays. Secondly, your hand just plays pretty well post flop. I just think there's, it plays well post flop, so there's just not really a need to put in a lot of chips at this point. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I like it.
Um,
As it turns out, if we 3-bet, it probably gets through, but
yeah,
it's
being
not a
result
spot we
oriented.
like.
Now, of course, the third member of this party, Dunaway, calls from the big blind with the 9 of spades, and 7 of clubs. Um, I think it's
Ambitious.
I think it's fair to say that Dunaway just likes to get in the mix.
Yep. I
Um,
saw him 3-bet 7-3 of hearts at some point.
and it worked. I did see
Yeah.
that as well. That it did work. So flop comes King of Diamonds, 10 of Clubs, 3 of Hearts. So now we got Grinder with top pair, decent kicker. We got Grinder with middle pair, and a middling kicker with backdoor straight draws. Both of them have backdoor straight draws. And then done away with absolutely
Yeah.
nothing.
You know, he has some backdoor straight draws too.
Yeah,
Let's
okay. Sorry.
not
I
count him
should've-
out.
Yeah, all right. He does have backdoor straight draws. That would probably give one of our opponents a better straight.
Maybe.
Yeah. So it goes check and check, and Grinder bets 2.75 bigs because he's in position into 7.5. So he bets exactly 33% pot. Hallert just ends up calling. I think this is the
You
same.
want me to correct your math?
Oh, you're right. 2.5 would have been. Okay, sorry. Just over. So
Just because I said I would give you more shit.
35.5769% pot. Is that
Perfect.
close? Okay, thanks.
Probably.
Hallert calls again. I think we're calling here for the same reason we call pre-flop. We have top pair, there's no need to inflate the pot. ICM says we don't want to get all our chips in at this point anyways with this hand.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Let's say the board just runs out 2 low cards. Let's say Grinder just bets huge turn and river. Do you think as Hallert we're calling down?
100%.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he called down even when it wasn't 2 birds or 2 birds.
That's a very good point. I guess, yeah, more I'm asking you personally, because it's like,
I think Hallert's thought is that Grinder is incentivized to apply infinite pressure here due to ICM.
yeah.
So he's going to be triple barreling pretty wide, whereas King Jack here is a very strong hand. I mean, and so I'll get to the action here. I mean, Kenny, not only did he have top pair, but he also turned an open ender to Broadway. So anyways, yeah, flop King 10-3, check, Grinder bets third pot, Hallert calls, Dunaway folds. There's 12 and a half bigs in the pot now, and the turn is the Queen of Clubs, giving Grinder 2 pair and Hallert top pair with an open ender.
Mhm.
Haller checks completely fine. Grinder bets 11 big blinds now into 12.5. So he's going with that, that Jason Hoffman geometric sizing. I guess you have to go
Yeah.
big on all three streets to do that, right?
Geometric. He could be like sizing the same percentage on turn and river, which I don't. He probably does close to that,
So
right?
yeah, he bets on the turn. Um, he bets
It's like
what?
a little over 80%, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He bets 11 into 12.5. You do the math, Mister Calculator.
Yeah,
Um,
over
so
80,
so how
86 maybe.
so Haller calls. Obviously, this is all very standard at this point.
Yeah. It
The
does suck though, because at this point now, I think Haller knows he's already bluff catching, even though
He
obviously
is
he has
bluff catching
outs.
purely. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Grinder's not going to be. I don't. Well,
If he has a
yeah,
weaker king, he's not going to blast the
he's gonna
turn.
try and get the showdown with those type of hands because he's otherwise just punting to those hands, and he's good enough to know that. So he Haller calls. Rivers the four of spades. There's 36 bigs in the middle. Haller checks and Grinder bets 30. It's so
Yeah.
gross because Hallard is. I think Hallard has like 40 bigs behind,
Yep.
maybe
It-
10 bigs behind if he calls and is wrong. He
yeah. It
ta-
was something like that.
yeah, he tanks for a while and ends up calling and losing, and you could just see the soul leave his body. I mean, I had not seen him from that yet, but he just like I could see him wanting to just throw up. It was kind of gross. I felt bad for the guy. It's just like what a turn. Grinder's just running this table over now, and now he's absolutely. I mean, he's got over 200 big blinds in the main event, five hand or four-handed or whatever it is at this point.
Yeah. He had like 2/3 of the chips in play at this point.
Yeah. And it's just insane. And being Grinder, he's not afraid to apply pressure. So moving on, Haller jams seven bigs with ace queen off. Grinder calls with king jack of diamonds in the big blind, turns a jack, and Haller is dust in the wind.
Yeah. And this was the second day of the final table now, because they bagged up with
Four
four
players.
left
Yep.
still.
Yep.
And once again, the first hand of the second day here, first hand, someone busts out again.
Very first
And
hand.
what was so crazy is I hadn't even tuned in, and then I got I saw whether it was a text or something in Discord, something about what is going on here, and it's like a few minutes after the final table starts, and I tune in, and it's heads up, and I'm like, wait,
What the
what?
hell?
So I rewind it, I hit the rewind, and yeah. So anyways, this was a super standard hand where
Yeah.
Mizrachi just got there, and
Yeah. Mizrachi. I mean, I feel every time he was all in, or not all in, but every time he was against an all in player, he won the flip.
yeah,
So,
yeah, or
ace king
yeah.
versus jack jack, or 60-40s, 50-50s, any of those.
Mhm.
He was just winning them all that he was involved in. So, and that's what it takes to win tournaments sometimes, let's be real.
Yeah.
Um,
The
did you
very
have
next hand,
Go ahead.
he was a big favorite, that one,
We were
right?
three, yeah. So this is kind of I wrote down WTF in front of this hand.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So basically, was it blind versus blind? Grinder put
Yep, grinder,
Dunaway
small
all in,
blind, done away in the big.
and Dunaway had 9 or 10 bigs.
He had 10 bigs to start the hand, but he had, two bigs in the pot, so eight behind on top of two in the pot.
Gotcha. This is so we'll say what happened first, but he called it off with 10-6 of hearts here.
Yeah,
And
and
Grinder had ace 10 of diamonds, and he
ace 10
held.
he just jammed small blind.
Yeah.
Completely standard with our big blind having 10 bigs. So and then Dunaway quickly. I mean, he didn't put much effort. He kind of just slammed those chips in there with the 10-6 of hearts. And the commentators made a great point, and I agree with them. They said, you know, even the 10-6 of hearts, even if Grinder is just jamming any two here, the 10-6 of hearts still doesn't even perform well against those.
I guess. And what I'm actually pulling up here is I'm not going to look to see if there's a ICM spot, but even just Chippy V for 10 big blinds, I want to see if this is like pretty, because I think it's much closer than people are thinking. And I
Really?
think this is, yeah, it's very close. I think that given the spot, because Wozniak had Dunaway covered by quite a lot,
I would have
right?
snap folded even if I know my opponent's jamming, something I'm 60% against.
So
Because I would rather just build my stack. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's a lot of value in not taking showdowns just by
yeah.
jamming and picking up lines.
Okay, yeah. So 10-6 suited is a fold. 10-8 suited call, like Queen 5 suited call.
Yeah. Queen
And
5 suited is a lot different than 10-6 suited. There's a
I would
large range of hands between those two.
yeah. However, this is all assuming that again, this is how the solver works. Like this is assuming grinder is shoving only like the range that the solver suggests. I think he's going to be shoving much wider. And so I'm not
I
saying
agree. Yeah, I
this
mean he's shoving pretty much any two.
yeah, so I'm not going to say that like this is a good play by Dunaway, but I will be one of the few people I think that says I think this was very close. I don't necessarily blame him for calling it off here.
You know,
Um,
you're an idiot and I disagree with you.
yeah, well, we'll see who wins our
Again,
heads up
I
for
think the
Rome's
biggest
match.
takeaway here, yeah, all right, that sounds good. I think the biggest takeaway here is like the not forcing showdown and picking up chips by just stuffing it in pre. You know what I mean? When you're on the button essentially or in small blind, I think there's a lot more value in that.
There is the one thing I will say in agreement with your point.
About time.
You know what? I don't even want to say it anymore.
Yeah, you can leave it on. You agree with me. I like that. Any
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
anyways.
So basically, I think Wozniak. Do you remember how many big blinds he had? It was something like
I want to
in
say
the
he had like
30s.
30 something. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think he
then
had just over 100 or something at 3K or 3 million, maybe something.
it was definitely 2.5 million was the big blind.
Oh, then he had like 80 or something.
Yeah, he had. Oh, I think he started heads up with 90 something. So he had close to 40, like 36, 37 bigs.
Okay.
And then Mizrachi had something like, you know, 160, whatever. So the one thing here is as Dunaway, we kind of are playing for second place right now. Like, of course, you're not literally, of course, you're trying to win the tournament, but
You're
even
100%
if the
right.
10-6 suited is, even if against grinders just jamming everything range, even if it's a okay call, if we double up, like we're not a threat to grinder yet, right?
For sure. For sure.
And the other guy is an amateur. Maybe he is going for the win, and maybe he busts it. Like maybe we sneak into an extra $2 million by just like you said, getting a few jams through.
I think
But
that's another one of the biggest reasons why is why I want to fold there. I mean, again, it's kind of what we're touching on now is yeah, it's just like if for some reason Wozniak ends up playing a big pot with Grinder next hand, which he's completely capable of doing, we just make a couple $1 million.
yeah, I think like yeah, I don't mind the fact that he's calling it. Like I don't mind just going for it. If he thinks like Grinder's shoving any two, I don't really mind it. It was weird though. This whole final table seemed like the final table of like a 250 daily that you might see.
Kind of did feel that way.
Like a
Yeah,
lot of all ins, a lot of loose play here and there,
I do agree with that.
but it was fun.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, and that might be why, right? So Grinder ends up winning that hand. He goes into heads up. I want to say with a 10-1, or excuse me, 5-1 chip
Five to
advantage.
one. Yep.
Um, and now, I didn't document a bunch of hands of heads up play. They weren't very interesting. I will say that you could clearly tell right out of the gate that Wozniak's goal was to try and exploit Grinder's aggressiveness by just trapping most of his hands, any sort of
Hmm.
pairs and stuff like that. Just to trying to yeah get Grinder put in chips so he can win chips that way because that's kind of his expectation. I don't hate it. I think it's fine. I think that's like probably a good way to play against Grinder heads up. It boils down to the one last hand where he does trap with this hand, but it was going to get in either way.
Yeah.
Final hand, Wozniak opens two bigs on 30 bigs with ace nine off. Grinder defends the 10-3 of clubs. I think it's standard across the board here, heads up. Definitely defending the 10-3 of clubs as well. But he's got 200 big blinds, so definitely defending the 2-3
Yeah, I
club,
mean,
the
even
10-3.
no matter the stack, we're definitely defending
Yeah.
it.
Flop comes ace nine seven two clubs, ace of diamonds. It checks through. So Grinder checks, Wozniak checks. Wozniak's checking here to hope to get to be under rep so Grinder can blast off into him. Well, unfortunately for Wozniak, the turn comes a four of clubs, and Grinder turns a flush. Uh, Grinder checks again.
Mhm.
And Wozniak bets four bigs into five bigs. At this point, he's like, I want to deny equity. You know, I know I don't not want to see any clubs on the
And
river.
then and then Grinder turns to his rail and does the thumbs up again. Yeah.
Once again, Grinder turns his rail, gives the double thumbs
It's
up.
that might be one of my favorite. Just like he's having fun and like he's the opposite of full robot mode, you know. He's like
Yeah,
getting
let's
the
go,
crowd
dude.
pumped
He's a
up
performer. I loved it. I loved every
and
second of that.
and he is like you, you do have to be careful. Obviously, you have to be
Tell
sure you're
wise.
not giving you have to be balanced,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But
Yep.
I think he's just good at he's so experienced with that stuff that he
And
just
his image is such that like you just think he's so aggressive. So like it could still be a bluff, even if it's always strong when he does
yep.
that. So Grinder raises to 12. Wozniak snap jams. They get it in, and this is probably my favorite part of the whole tournament. But the Grinder runs back to his rail. He's dead. He's
Oh no,
dead.
no. First he's like, no club,
Oh
no
yeah, no
club.
club, no club, no club. He
Cause and
must have
then he
because
comes back, he's like, he sees it's the Wozniak has the ace of spades, not the club. So he's like,
yeah,
oh no, it's not a club. He's dead, we're
we
good. And
won.
then he after like a few seconds of celebration, he's like, oh shit, no.
No ace, no
He
nine.
paired.
I
Yeah.
thought for sure after that celebration
An
Wozniak was
ace was
gonna
coming on the
smash
river.
it.
Yeah.
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 But no, it was
Honestly, yeah,
yeah.
that's the I think we all could kind of see that happening where it's like Grinder thought he won the main event and then he gets four outed and somehow loses the whole thing,
Oh
you
my
know?
God. That would have
Yeah.
been just so on par with like poker gods been celebrating too early. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah.
um, yeah. Anyways, what I thought that was a super incredibly fun and entertaining final table to watch. Compared to like say 2016 to like 2019 era where like solvers were really becoming prominent, people were really robotic. It was very slow paced play, a lot of like just clicking wars where you got Grinder here just 3x and yeah, it just the pace of play was really fun to watch. The entertainment was fun to watch. You one thing I wanted to ask you, Wes, you'd mentioned before we started the podcast that you wanted to kind of have a disagreement with the
Mm.
about ICM with
Yeah.
Allie.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So there was a spot early, I think it was when there were seven left. And the the commentators were saying something like, oh no, because Nick Wright, who's he's a very good like sports
Who I
host
have
guy.
no idea who he is. Am I a fish
Yeah,
for
he
that or
is.
no?
He actually has has like a sports TV show and he has a podcast. I actually listen to the podcast. I really like his takes.
Yeah,
He has
people with
this
podcasts are
analytical.
stupid as hell.
Yeah, we're everyone should just get out of our way. Um, no, he's a very smart guy, and I think I like his sports show because he has sort of that analytical poker brain. Like you know,
Okay, he's
and
analytical.
anyways,
I'm not much into sports other than golf. You know that, so it's no surprise. I'm not sure who he is, but continue.
yeah. So he was the third guy announcing, and he said something with seven left where he's like, "Now I'm not like well studied on ICM, but what should the strategy be here for these players? Because there were three players who basically had identical chip stacks. They were
Sub
all around
20.
30 big blinds
Oh,
with
30.
seven
Okay.
left.
Okay.
And one of the other guys said, I think you try and outlast. I think you wait, you know. And I think it's the opposite. I think the time you wait around is if there's someone at like two or three big blinds, right? Like you don't want to bust before them. But I think when all of you are as the shortest stacks, like at 30 big blinds, you can't just like
You're
wait, you know.
incentivized to build up to get ahead of them in terms of ICM, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, you're just trying to win at that point because it's like you're not like playing to outlast. There's not someone
Yeah.
who's probably going to bust
I'm
soon.
glad
So
you
I think
brought that
they,
I'm glad you brought that scenario up, especially, like, comparing it to when there's someone sub 10 and when you're, like, 30. I think that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, yeah. So I think that stood out to me where I'm like, I think they're just wrong about that one. But otherwise, I enjoyed it a lot. I agree with you. It was a very fun final table, even for me as someone who's a little bit more on the robotic side, perhaps. And I will say, for some reason, one of my favorite main event final tables ever, one that I've gone back and watched a few times, is the 2018 one
Is
where
that with,
Johnston.
Johnson?
It
Yeah.
was the one Joe Cata. It was Joe Cata made his second final table that
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
played great. And it was just a very. It was also the longest one. I don't know if I've even watched the whole thing because they played heads up for like 5 hours.
Yeah. That
But
and
I
dude,
love
by the
I
end of
love
that, they were just zombies. You remember that? Johnson had pretty much not the nuts, but, like, pretty much heads up the nuts, and, like, it took
yeah,
forever. Anyways,
yeah, yeah. No, I remember that. So I like both sides of the coin in terms of final tables, but yeah, I think this one was very fun, and I love the main event final table because it's this huge, obviously like the biggest tournament, but there's still usually like some people who aren't like super studied. You know, when you see like the super high roller bowl,
yeah.
it's not like it's not like those. You'll see some crazy stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well said, well said. Well, I will go ahead and start wrapping things up here. This is going to be our last WSOP 2025 episode, and what a way to end it. I mean, it was super entertaining. It was a summer full of awesome memories. Lots of cool tournaments played, lots of good, dinners to be had in Vegas, lots of just good times hanging with friends and playing cards. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to not only host this podcast with you, but to be able to get to play poker and juice my bankroll a little bit with it. It's I'm again, yeah, just super thankful for this and thankful for an awesome summer, even though it wasn't like super profitable or anything. It's memories we'll always have to look back on, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next year and the main event. Um, we have a lot of good tournaments coming up here in Minnesota. We got the Running Aces $500 tournament next weekend. We got the
that's this week,
or
and
this weekend, excuse me.
yeah,
We have the
I already bagged it.
yeah, you bagged 80K last night. What do you come
Yeah,
back to 8K? So you have 10 bids
yeah,
to go.
8K. It could be 6K if some flight ends early,
Okay,
but
I'll try
yeah,
to really put a kaput to it real quick so you can come back to 6K.
appreciate it.
Um, I'm not sure what day I'm playing yet. Still undecided, but congrats on your bag, by the way. In that, we got the MSPT Riverside coming up. I'm still undecided if I'm going to that. Probably going to skip it, even though it's like one of my favorite MSPT stops. I've had a full summer so far, and I gotta get my life on track a little bit. Spend some
There
time
you
with the
go.
wife, get work done, all that stuff. So we'll see. It's in the air, but I'll definitely be at Running Aces this weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed the second episode this week. I think Wes and I are going to start trying to implement some new content into the Suited Kings podcast schedule. So that would just mean more content for you guys, more guests, more breakdowns, more learning, all that good stuff. And we'll go ahead and wrap it up with a couple of small plugs, guys. If you haven't yet, join our Discord. Uh, it's an awesome, if you're looking for a community full of poker players to bounce ideas from, to learn from, to become friends with, click the link in the description or find our Twitter at Suited Kings Pod. Join the Discord. It's hundreds of people. It's very active. We all have a good time, talking, learning, et cetera, et cetera. So hop in there. If you want some Suited Kings merch, make sure to check out the tilted-compass.com website. There's going to be a link in the description wherever you're listening to this. Go to the collaboration tab and see the Suited Kings and Tilted Compass hoodie collab. You can get different colors, different sizes. Yeah, we appreciate that. Definitely helps support the podcast. Plus, the swag is like super comfortable, great for playing poker, and keeps you nice and warm in those super cool poker rooms. And yeah, it just looks good, right? So make sure to check
Does
that
look
out.
good.
Thirdly, however you want to say it, our Patreon. If you guys enjoy the way we talk poker, want to learn more from us, we have our Patreon where we create training videos with our $15 a month subscription, where we try to drop 2 to 3 a week. It's been a little slow because of Vegas, but now we're back. We're going to get full force dropping content on there again. I mean, there's already probably 20, 30 plus videos on there that you can get into and start learning from immediately. So link in the description for that. Make sure to check out our Patreon. And then Wes, you got a bankroll challenge you're about to get back on.
I'm gonna get back to that. I will be starting up my bankroll challenge again next week, streaming, maybe even Sunday if I bust the day 2. The main reason I actually haven't is I just want to get a couple. I forgot my webcam, and so I have someone giving that back to me.
Just an absolute moron.
Just a disgrace, right?
Literally.
And then I am gonna use a new computer too. But yeah, I'll start that back up, live streaming or delay streaming a bankroll challenge, and yeah, play some more cash games. We have our meetup game next Tuesday on Clubs Poker.
Yes, sir. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, right?
7:30.
7:30 p.m. Central. Okay.
Yeah, I told him.
I'm the actual moron here, guys. Sorry about that.
You know, hey, you won that tournament 3 times.
4.
Was it 4 actually?
Yeah, yeah. Get it together, pal. Get it together. You're 2, I'm 4. Come on.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys,
you are lucky.
Yeah, again, we appreciate you. And also, you know what, Wes, I talk a lot of shit, but I love you too, brother. I'm thankful for all you've done for my game, and hopefully you can say the same. I've taught you how to punch a little better. So, guys, hope you have a great day, great night, great morning, drinking coffee, drinking chai teas, drinking whiskeys, tequilas, whatever it is. Just make sure to tell Wes to shut up next time you see him, and we'll see you guys next week with another episode.
You're just a disgrace.